Welcome to the show, guys. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great.
Great, thank you. How are you?
Good. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. This is going to be exciting. I look forward to hearing.
Pleasure having us. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. So, Diya, right? Diya is a new concept. It's an Indian concept in Miami Beach.
That's right.
The Sunset Harbour neighborhood of Miami Beach, yes.
The Sunset Harbour. Great. So before we dive around the restaurant, about the restaurant, tell us a little bit about you guys. You guys are local, I understand.
Manni, you want to start?
Yeah, well,
he has the history packed down.
The family migrated to Miami Beach in the late 80s. And over the years, being vegetarian from birth, it's always been a struggle going to dine out for us, getting vegetarian food. We always have to make sure things, if it's something that's requested, make sure that it's all vegetarian. So over the years, my mom been cooking, and we would have family and friends come over to our home, and they would be like, this is really good, really good. And they said, why not have something, open something, and we never thought about opening a restaurant per se. And Vidya, she has learned some of the techniques from one of my late aunts and my mom, who are very good cooks. So and over the years, she developed her own techniques as well. So she's pretty much the one who took the baton cooking skills from the family. I absolutely, if you ask me to boil water, I don't know exactly where to start. And over the years, we've been cooking at home and for different occasions, celebrations, birthdays, and so forth. And we would invite people over, and they would be like, this is really good. And we really didn't really know if they would, just telling us to make us feel good. But we started really thinking about this, and we said, what if we open a vegetarian restaurant? And what kind of inclined that is from our travel experience. We've been traveling with our other business to different parts, like Europe and stuff. And one country in particular I'd like to point out, which is Germany. Over the last 15 years, we've been going there, conventions, etc. We could go there and we would say, okay, that's a place that, we're gonna catch real healthy vegetarian food. And Germany has transformed itself now to one of the epicenter for vegan, vegetarian foods, probably some of the best in the world. And we said, if the Germans can do vegetarian at this level, I mean, Miami is just a melting pot. They have so many flavors. Why can't we do something? And we dawned upon it for a little while, and we say, what, an opportunity arose, and we took advantage of it. And all four of us decided, hey, we got to jump in on this together because this is a big undertaking.
Three of us said, let's do it. And
there's a story. There's a really good story here you're going to love. So we'll get to that part of it. There's a story behind it. So.
But anyways, back to the growing of vegetarianism and veganism. London is kind of like a big deal for that. And many other countries besides the US has grown exponentially for veganism. And this is due to a lot because of education and health-wise as well. People wanted to have better, health practices, their diet, their routine, etc.
But so, you are seeing a lot of the millennials too are being vegetarians. There's a huge population of millennials, 25%. And I know some in my family that actually, well, on my husband's side, that converted their parents to being vegetarians. So you see that, sometimes the parents are the ones to be the influencers, right? But now you're seeing it's in the opposite way. Actually, the kids are the one that's influencing the parents. And there's a pattern right now, as you can see, because of the pandemic, a lot of millennials are going back home. A lot of the younger generation who moved out are going back home. And there's a trend there. And also, if you look at the statistics, 8% of the world population of vegetarians, there's a huge, huge number, growing number in the United States. And again, you're seeing a diverse age group in the last year when you look at the statistics of vegetarians, and a higher percentage of that vegetarian statistics is actually vegan. So it's kind of interesting when you look at it. It's a new, I think people are thinking about health benefits. They're thinking about a lot of younger generations are thinking about animal rights, and all of these factors are increasing the awareness to be vegetarians, be it lacto or be it any other types of vegetarians. We are seeing that increase in it.
And this was prior to COVID pandemic.
Exactly.
And after COVID pandemic hit, even more.
Exactly.
And down here in the South Florida, Miami area, how is that being represented here? Is there a lot of this vegetarian approach, vegan approach?
I see a lot of Latin, a lot of friends that I've made recently in the Latin community are vegetarians. Latin, I mean, it's all about the boy. What are some of the famous dishes? I can't even think about it, but like you see,
it depends which country. It depends which country. They have different.
But you see a huge, like especially Puerto Ricans. I have 2 vegan Puerto Rican chefs that recently I made, friends with. You see a huge Latin influence of vegans and vegetarians now. So we see a lot of that population coming in here, and we have been widely accepted into the Miami culture at Diya. So we're very excited about that. Yeah, they love it.
Long ago, when as a kid growing up, and people, in school, they would say, "Why don't you eat chicken?" And at times, I used to get bullied upon for being vegetarian and laughed at.
Wow.
And as time, goes on, I think people started to get more educated on vegetarianism and veganism. So it has transformed itself so vastly. I mean, when we arrived here into Miami Beach, I can't recall a vegetarian restaurant that was in Miami.
No.
As compared to, let's say, Switzerland, one of the oldest vegetarian restaurants, believe it or not, is in Zurich, over 100 years old, and it's still there today in Zurich, Switzerland. So we are now growing and moving in that direction, and we are happy to see this. And it's from all different backgrounds, all different cultures that are being exposed. And I think one of the growing factors is social media. People are seeing, well, hey, you know what? Vegetarian, after all, is not boring, and that is a key factor because
boring.
People looked at vegetarianism as a salad, and that was it.
Oh, with no flavor,
And
there's no flavor in there. And when we opened at the beginning, the concept for the restaurant, we had some consultants and people we reach out to just to give us some feedback, because we're new to the industry. This is our first restaurant. And they were like, "Oh, you're never going to make it. You're not serving meat." And we would have people walk in here and be like, customers be like, "Oh no, I'm not sitting down to eat." Some would sit down and they'd be like, "Oh my goodness, this was amazing." And some would just like not even entertain the idea of sitting at a vegetarian restaurant with the options that we had, to help them, see the difference.
Just to elaborate on what Vidya said, some restaurateurs that we talked to in the area said, "You guys gonna fail."
Yeah.
And,
wow. Just like that.
Yeah.
And we are in our 10 months, and we are now busier than them come weekend.
Yeah. We're the talk of the town.
In a 10-month time frame. And that goes to show, and you don't have to blame them for that, because and we take we don't say, oh, they wished us bad.
No,
that's
actually,
the mindset of people.
Yeah, they were actually trying to help.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, don't waste your time. They thought that's just how it was.
Yeah. So it's growing, and like I said, we are proud to see different cultures embrace vegetarianism.
Well, I mean, it's not just different cultures. I think society in a whole embraces being a vegetarian because there's so many health benefits of it. I mean, it reduces the risk of cancer and other health issues. If you suffer from cardiac issues, they say you have to lower the intake of red meat. So the publications, the scientific backing for all of this is out there, and people are now seeing that, especially in cancer therapy. I do a lot of research. I work in the pharmaceutical industry, and what we're seeing is when the doctors are prescribing anti-inflammatory therapies, right next to the anti-inflammatory therapies is turmeric. Turmeric is one of the most important spices in Indian cuisine. And you see that all the time in the pharmaceutical world now. They are going back to those traditional spices and actually implementing them in their therapies.
Awesome. I think I take turmeric every so often. I have my little pills.
That's good.
That's really good.
It's only beneficial with heat.
Yeah.
With heat?
Yes.
Yeah. So tempering a bit, or some of the turmeric you are taking as supplements would have black pepper as a to help the bioavailability in the body, so it's not just going through your system, but it's being absorbed in your system.
So I should, if my turmeric does not have pepper with it, it is bad.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
It's not going to be as effective.
Yeah. You can put it in some tea or something with a little bit of heat.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
This, I understand that Diya is a family restaurant, right? It's operated, managed, basically every aspect of it is part of the family, right?
Correct.
That's correct.
Very correct.
So can we talk a little bit about that? About the family? How's the family? How are you? Who's doing what? A little bit of that.
Val, you go ahead because you do a lot.
We all do a lot. There's no one task that's you. It's if you can't handle it right now, if you're busy, we'll do it, which is good. There's always someone else that can help and assist. Takes the pressure off. Except in the kitchen, because that's all this one.
Yeah. So I tell them don't. So I do the kitchen, and I say don't bother me with anything else. Just tell me what's going on, and they do the rest. So the three of them are the ones that run the.
And the fourth is Manni's brother Dharam, which is my husband, and I'll give you the quick breakdown.
Yeah.
I think he does all the engineering, the Mr. Fix-It. Anything that breaks in the building, he'll fix it. If he doesn't know how, he'll find a way out.
He's a problem solver for
that. Definitely saves us some time and finance. Obviously, when something breaks, we don't have to be like, call the guy, because the guy's already here. So that's pretty cool.
And that's a big advantage. Believe it or not, things will break. It doesn't matter if it's a brand new build out.
Oh yeah.
Things will break.
And it will break at the most inconvenient time.
Sure.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. So that helps. That takes out a lot of peace of mind for us as well. I never ever thought that running a restaurant is so a modern day thing. It's just not coming, cooking, having a front end. No, it's way more in depth.
Yeah.
It's the internet analytics that go into running the business.
You just didn't open a 200 square foot little thing and just dishing out food. You opened a huge.
No, we picked a 10,000 square foot space.
Yeah, and you're gonna be the cook here. I'm like, what? The chef? What? Here in this big space? What are we talking about? So I am the chef. My background is I'm a scientist, so I work in the pharmaceutical industry. I work closely with FDA, and I've worked in the past with Center for Disease Control as a lead epidemiologist twice during outbreaks. And so my background is quite diverse.
We call her our chef epidemiologist.
Chef epidemiologist. That's the new term. Everybody's calling me that. And there's a history again how I ended up here as the chef. We'll get to that in a little bit because I know that's part of, you know, it's. We want to keep you listeners engaged, and we'll tell you the story. It's coming at the end, and it's really good.
So what I do is everything else, I think. I've handled the financing and the accounting of the business. I also have 10 years hospitality experience in New York. So I'm the nitpicker on the servers. Don't do this constantly.
Mm-hmm.
I think they get a little scared when I come down.
Bartender.
Yes, I'm a bartender by trade.
And expo.
And I found my niche, I think, since we've opened in expoing in the kitchen. So busy nights, I like to be up there making sure the plating is coming out perfect.
Perfectionist.
Screaming at me to do
a lot of it's loud. They try to take my radio away.
Communication is key.
Communication is key. Well, and that goes back in hand with what Manny was talking about before, with all the Instagramming, the social media, and how the internet plays such a big part. If one dish goes out not looking how it's supposed to look, and it goes to a table that's gonna photograph it and post it, then we now have this image out there that we just could have done better. So when the plating goes out, I like to be the last person to see it before I leave the kitchen.
Yep, and she screams at me, no, this does not look good, do it over.
But I scream at you with love.
Yeah. And Manny is the director of social affairs here.
I like that title, yes. He's also like customer satisfaction. He likes to touch every table, make sure, what brought you in, how could we do better, what did you like, what didn't you like. This being a new concept, we want to know how people are receiving it. And not just pay your check and leave a tip. We want to make sure you enjoyed your experience.
Yeah.
That's really important to, I think, every single one of us. And I think a lot of the social media feedback has been what a lost art that is, especially in Miami. There's a service charge almost anywhere you go. And it's just because we want to make our money. We serve you a food. We want to make our money. We want our staff to get paid. Hopefully you come back. We don't want that here. We want to make sure you enjoyed everything from the second you walked in till the second that you leave.
You get the Maharaj experience. Mm-hmm. So that's our last name. And we, that's
which also means, explain what it means.
Oh yeah, it means, king
in royalty.
In royalty. So when you come here, you feel like royalty. We want to give you that experience. So it's true to our name, see what I'm saying?
See. Yes.
He was just trying to do that.
See what I'm trying to do here.
Yeah, I got you.
One thing that we need to tell the listeners out there is that we didn't open a restaurant to sell food, and that was never our intention. It was always the intention as if you were coming to our home, and the experience you would be welcome with and receive. And I tell anyone who is going to be in the food industry, don't open a restaurant or a food cart or anything like that to sell food. You're gonna fail. Everybody's selling food. Everybody's trying to hustle. Sell an experience.
Yeah.
If you can sell an experience, you will have people visiting you.
Yeah.
And that's what, we've been living here for a very long time in Miami Beach. And in Miami in general has went downhill in the hospitality field.
The service is definitely lacking.
We need to improve our hospitality here in Miami. And that's why I'm here always looking around, making sure if a customer is even turning around, that means that customer needs a server to the table. We even go as far to make sure that if someone wants a particular item, a customer comes in here and says, you know what, this is what I like to see on your bar, we bring that in.
Yeah.
We never say no to a request. We always say, let me see if we can make it happen for you. No matter how ridiculous the request is. I think last week we made a cheese naan for a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, the customer came with his nice poodle, and the dog likes naan. I said, I'll take it a notch higher. But the dog eat cheese. It's like, okay, we do a special cheese naan that's not on the menu. It's to die for, by the way.
Mm-hmm. And it will be on our menu eventually.
That's an off-menu item.
It is an off-menu. We were looking at the question. We don't have any off-menu items.
Yeah.
We do, yeah.
But, and it goes back to Indian restaurants in general is pretty much cliche to not taking the next level in bringing certain types of drinks to the bar. And I say that, and sometimes I go and I was like, you're providing like mixing curries is an art by itself. Someone will come, they may want a scotch of a particular nature, or a bottle of wine of a certain nature. And I take a lot of pride in our vintages of our scotch, in our bourbons. I mean, we have a Bordeaux in here, just to give an example. Fort Grove Bordeaux Grand Coup. You don't see that in even a lot of restaurants. So it's given the customer an experience rather than just trying to upsell them.
We spend a lot of time in research in putting together what would go with our cuisine, because like Manny was saying earlier, you don't find that. And you don't find the servers making those suggestions to you. Mm-hmm. I can attest to what he was saying earlier. In my experience with Indian food, obviously I'm not Indian. I don't know if you could pick that up.
Couldn't tell. No.
A little on the lighter side. For the listeners that aren't, this is a podcast, it's not viewing. So yes, I'm of a Caucasian descent. And my introduction to Indian food is when I was introduced to the family. I had never been to an Indian restaurant. And because I was scared. I didn't know what to order.
And you lived in New York.
And I lived in New York. And I didn't have anybody to take me there. And I feel like they weren't very welcoming as a whole. Not anybody specifically, but some like Italian restaurants, come, welcome. They're very warm, let me help you. And I feel like Indian restaurants as a stereotype technically don't do that. And that's something that's very important to me, that I wanted people that didn't necessarily know Indian food, come ask questions, let us send you stuff. Let us introduce you to this wonderful culture that we have. And a lot of what's in our menu is, I hate the word fusion, but it's a little bit of fusion. So people that, I don't like curry, I don't like spice, I don't want to try anything. We have plenty of things on our menu to introduce them to little bits and pieces of Indian culture, where they don't feel that they're eating something that they won't enjoy.
Yeah.
So from the time you come into Diya, you especially like on later in the afternoon, you would see that you come into Diya, you sit down, and there is a atmosphere kind of different. You can come to Diya, have some authentic curries, listen to some jazz, some smooth jazz with a bottle of Bordeaux. I mean, that right there is just like a different experience altogether. And we've been getting the compliments for that. The last jazz place that I used to frequent a lot was Van Dyke's in Miami Beach. A lot of people probably remember Van Dyke's. And if you've been there, Van Dyke's was an experience. It was an institution. And unfortunately, it closed. But again, back to what I was saying, experience. That's our mantra idea.
So now I'm curious. Let's dive a little bit into the menu. What can we expect? What's in there? And then I'm going to ask you a question about the experience. Walk me through an experience, since we're big into that. But first, I'm curious about the menu. What can we expect? What are the items that we're seeing?
So on our menu, you can find a combination of North and South Indian cuisine. We try to give our customers that experience where you are able to taste the traditional cuisine of India, but with a little bit of a twist. So we love having the traditional taste. When you taste our masalas, when you taste our curries, it tastes like what your grandma made. And our masalas, all our spices are made in-house. We do not use any pre-made spices. So we're very big on that. We try to, I mean, most of it, try to go non-processed, you know, in all our foods. So everything is fresh. I'm sorry?
Yeah, whenever possible.
Yeah, whenever possible, non-processed. So
and we've had the talk. It's obviously more cost effective to go store-bought and bulk, but that's not what we want to. That's not what we want to deliver to our customer. We want to say this samosa was rolled by hand. Everything inside was made by hand, and
so from our samosa is made in-house.
Yeah.
You don't get that
the
alone.
dough is made in-house.
It's made in-house.
Everything is made in-house.
Our chutneys are freshly made. And most of all, one of our number one is our secret dosa batter recipe.
Yes.
It's a 16-hour process that the scientist chef had. I don't know how she made that happen, but it's a very, very, very delicate dance to make a dosa batter.
Yeah.
A lot of restaurants, what they would do, they would buy the pre-batch batter from the wholesaler to make it. And sometimes in that, they would have flour, wheat. Dosa is known to be a rice-based batter made with urad
rice
dal,
and urad dal,
which does make it gluten-free.
It makes it gluten-free. So when you come to Diya, you could almost, if you touch your dosa, it will break. And that's a big plus. If you touch your dosa and it's not breaking, then, you know, it's kind of have that elasticity type of thing going on there. So our dosa, we even go as far as making paper tin dosa. That's a big deal, to make a paper tin dosa.
You say it again? The last, what?
Paper thin
dosa.
So it's like paper. Yeah.
Paper
so
thin.
It's a big deal.
So what is a samosa first? What is a chutney? And a dosa exactly? It's a piece. It's what is it? A bread?
Okay.
Can you break down what those are? The samosa. Yeah. What's a samosa?
A samosa is like an empanada with filling inside. So you can have veg or non-veg. Obviously, we do vegetarian samosas here. It's made with potatoes and vegetables, peas, and it's sort of like curried. And then it's stuffed into this little triangle pastry dough that we make in-house, and then we fry. That's one samosa. We also have a beet samosa served with a goat cheese cilantro chutney, and that's something unique to our restaurant. And
it's not necessarily an Indian dish.
Yeah,
that's something that we added.
Chutney.
The chutney is a fancy name for sauce. But it has a process to it.
Yeah, so the chutney goes with those are like little sauces you eat on the side. So with a dosa, and a dosa again is a fermented rice, and
it's served crepe style.
Split
so
pea.
If you think of a crepe, how it's spread out real thin and then usually rolled. It can be plain or served with served stuffed. We have about 5 or 6 dosas on our menu right now, which will expand in the future. And they're also served with our sambar dal, also made in-house. It's like a lentil soup.
Yeah.
And our house-made coconut chutney.
Right.
Which is a typical, news to me when we first started doing it like that, is typical breakfast in India.
Yeah.
A plain dosa served with the soup and the coconut chutney is a sufficient breakfast meal.
And it's actually really rich in protein. It has really good fats, good protein, low in carb, and easy on the digestive system. So it's one of the healthier breakfast options because of the fermentation process that goes into making the batter. And again, it's all made in-house. There are no additives to it or anything like that. It's made every 2 days in-house. And coming up with that recipe was sort of like a science project for me. It literally was a science project, which I truly enjoyed.
Don't talk to me. I'm doing the dosa batter.
Okay. And we were able to get the dosa batter just what we wanted, where we've had in the last week or 2 weeks, we've had people from India. There's this one guy that came twice, and he's like, I've never had dosa, and I'm from India. This good. So we take pride in our dosa. And again,
something else to note about our dosa is it is made, we do make it with butter, but it can be made vegan.
Yes.
With oil. So it is a gluten-free with a vegan option.
With a vegan option, that's right. That's right. And our samosas are vegan as well. A lot of our dishes are vegan. You just have to ask the waiter, see, you know, is this vegan? Most of the times for us, if there is not paneer, which is Indian cheese, in that dish, then it's vegan.
We can
yeah,
change
we can change that. So that's, you know, that's one of the things here. Diya, also, we do try to give our customers, because we know there's a huge vegan, you know, community here in South Florida. And our naan, which is made in house as well. It's made every day, fresh, and that's also vegan. It's, you know,
as long as you don't order the butter or the garlic.
Exactly. So, you know, we, again, our menu is quite diverse, but I like to play with flavors. So I have, and I'm sure you know patata bravas, but I have my version called aloo, because aloo is potato in Hindi. So we have our aloo bravas, and it's one of our top sellers here. And I take, so when I created the menu, I take things that I love and I create it, and if I can put a spin on it, then hey, it's even better. So we also have another dish, which is actually, I would think it's just us, right? It's the naan mi.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The naan mi is the take on the
banh mi sandwich.
The banh mi sandwich. It's a Vietnamese dish.
It's a Vietnamese sandwich. And we put it on a naan, and it's absolutely delicious. It was, you know, one of our friends, actually, her husband is Vietnamese, and it all happened right here with them.
Yeah, we were gonna put it on a bread, and she was playing with it, and she's like, "Can I get it on the naan though? Because I want to try the sandwich, but I also really like the naan."
Yeah.
And then the naan mi was born, and we were like, "How is it?" It was on the menu the next day.
Oh, they gave it approval. He's from Vietnam. He's like, this is one of the best. He's like, can you please, and the pickles and the sauce, everything is made in-house. And he was like, can you bottle these for me? Because this is so amazing.
And we have 2 filling choices for our naan mi sandwich. We do a spicy tofu, which we marinate here. And we also use a soya, which is like a soy protein. So depending on what your tastes are into, we have something. We also sell it deconstructed to go. So with a little instruction card, so you can build it like a pro.
Nice.
Which people love, especially in this time that they don't want to come into the restaurant, but they still want a fun something to eat at home. So.
And then there's our dessert, which we're expanding on, but it is,
our top selling dessert is the ras malai tres leches.
Ding ding ding.
And we've had people come just for the dessert.
That's my favorite. Like, I love tres leches. And I love ras malai, and I'm like, why not fuse them? You know, like, let's do something. So when I first came into the restaurant, they had, and this is where the story is. Where is Manni? Is he just
Manni, you coming back?
We'll get to that later when he's back. He'll tell you the story about how we came about with the menu.
Oh, okay.
So we can go ahead. Do you have any other questions? I know the listeners are probably waiting to hear that exciting story. So.
Yeah. Well, in the meantime, I wait for money. I can ask you. Let's see. So how can I order like a professional? Like, it's my first time at Diya, and I want to like be able to order and impress my friends.
Are you talking about as a dine-in? You're sitting in the restaurant?
Yeah.
If you're dining in the restaurant?
Well, can I say something really quick?
Yes.
If you're dining in the restaurant, our servers are amazing.
You don't need to look like a pro here.
Yeah.
Our servers take that pressure off.
Yep.
We have guests that have never really looked at our menu. They come down and they sit, they ask for their specific server. They've been here 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, he orders for us.
Okay.
And so there's no need to impress your friends here. Let us impress your friends.
Yeah.
Come in and say, I like spice, but not too spicy. I don't eat this. I don't eat this. And let us decide what's going to go on your table. I don't think I've had anybody say, oh, they sent this to me, but I don't like it.
Yeah, it's true.
I've had a lot of, oh, I like this better than this, but I love everything. You just tell us what taste you prefer, and we will put the food on the table for you. The good thing about our dishes is they're made family style and shareable. We have a sampler platter of our chef's favorite appetizers, which is very popular. A lot of people don't want to ask specific questions going through the menu because there's a lot of things they haven't seen before. So we do recommend that. And of course, everything is really good reheated, surprisingly. The dosa goes really good in a toaster oven, which we do often. I take home for myself. And yeah, it's a really great menu. It's really easy to suit every taste and every need.
Yeah, service would, let
and they
them
love
know.
to do it.
Yeah,
they get so excited.
They're like, oh yeah, good.
Even if you call and you're like, I haven't eaten in your restaurant before, what's good? They're like, oh, they get excited, they get in their zone because this is what they love to do. They love it just as much as we do.
But even if you were at home and you wanted to order takeout and you said, this Indian restaurant looks good, and you said, let me look, go on the website, DiyaSunsetHarbour.com. But once you jump onto our menu, it's pretty much self-explanatory. You can get the very well descriptive, of the menu, how we describe what each dish is and made it a little more simple, so the person could say, you know what, I like this, or I like that better than this. I don't like cheese, I like spinach, so we made it easier for the person.
That's true,
who's going to order, let's say, takeout. And,
if you wanted to do takeout. And then you can order through our website, and you can also order through the delivery platforms if it's easier for you. We're on all of them.
And that's something that we recognize that a lot of Indian restaurants, they would have the Indian name jargons, and then you're lost. This, that, the next, and it's like,
That's
oh my God, what is what here?
Yeah.
If you're not familiar, you would give up. So the normal
person there who is not so much knowledgeable about Indian cuisine could say, oh, that's like an empanada. Oh, this is a bravas. Patatas bravas. So they could put the name. So we kind of played with the name as well. So it kind of jingles onto their memory. Oh, I get it. Yeah.
I want to try that.
So the inspiration behind the menu, I know that I was curious about what discoveries Manni made in his search, and then you mentioned that there was a funny story as well. Can you guys share that?
Oh yeah.
So, traveling to India, it's a journey by itself. For the people who travel to India, you are pretty much, if you're not Indian, first of all, then you are totally lost.
Oh.
But it's a good loss, believe me, because everything you probably will eat out there is pretty good. But this is an advice I have to people who are listening out there. I always tell people, if you want to taste a country, don't go to a fine dining restaurant. Go and try the street food. And that is something that's unfortunately in India, because of the sanitary aspect and whatnot, clean water availability, most of the time people get bugs in their stomach. But I took a deep dive and I dare myself, you know what, I have to eat on the streets. And I was coming back from a trek in northern India, elevation, I think I climbed like, it was 6,000, 7,000 feet high. Coming back down 2 o'clock in the morning and hungry, like busted me really, really bad. And the vendors were open. And I was like, man, you know what? I need to eat. And this guy had some pakoras and some samosas there and chutneys. And I tasted that. And I was pretty much staying at a nice American Indian hotel. And they have a really good spread. And when I ate from this guy from the street, it was a different level.
He called us the next day and he said, you guys have to buy a ticket now and come taste this food.
Yeah, and then at one time I was in South India, and this is how dosa came onto our menu. So another in back country. And we were partying very, very hard. And no place opens at 4 a.m. in the morning. And this guy said, I said to this guy, hey, we're hungry, where could we get food? I said, there's one spot that's available now. This guy comes from 4 in the morning till 9 a.m. And he sells dosa. And there are literally 500 people around his cart. And I said, there's no way we're going to get food from this guy. There's too many people. And the moment I tasted that dosa, I was like, what in the world is this thing? I'm going back to America and I have to like find out how to make this thing without even knowing that we were going to even open a restaurant. I said, guys,
You just kept talking about it,
kept talking about this dosa. And there you go.
When restaurant came about, he said it. We have to have these things, and it has to be.
So this is the brainchild behind, and again, this is a family restaurant, so this is all of us here.
No,
this is Ronnie.
This is great.
Stress reliever. She is here all the time to bring smiles to everyone.
Hey.
And this is Dharam.
Hi, how are you?
He's the reason why we have this restaurant here, and he'll tell you the story. I would let him tell you the story.
How this came to be.
How this came to be.
So let me take a picture of everyone here, please.
Oh,
okay. 1, 2, 3, check. This is great. Okay, cool.
Sorry, we just keep bringing people in. I hope
No, this is great. Angelica, we haven't lost you yet, right? Still in there. Okay, great. So I was imagining, you know, Manni like with like a pencil and like diving into books, but when you said you actually went there to actually taste things, I think that's awesome.
And we are probably, I don't know, probably the only place that have pani puri shots. So you could get mezcal, you could get tequila, pani puri shot. Pani puri is a street food in India.
It's a little puff.
the rice puff.
A rice puff.
Hollow.
Yeah, hollow, and you just make a hole inside, and then you stuff it with like potato, chickpeas, onion, tomato, cilantro, and then there is a water-based chutney that goes inside of it, and then you shot it, and then you eat it, and it's like an explosion in your mouth.
Cool.
But us being us, we played with it, adding different liquors into it, so you can eat and drink part of the experience there.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But while we have Dharam with us, I don't know if he has to run away.
I'm here.
Let's
The fixer-upper.
He asked, how did this restaurant come to be?
Yes.
So, and how did the four of us come? And it was, how three became four.
Well, growing up, Vidya was, she was always in the kitchen cooking for the family all the time, constantly. And I would tell her, I was like, listen,
They forced me.
we can make a living doing this. This is, you're really good at what you do. And she's good at mixing flavors. And if something is vegetarian, she can make it vegan and not, disturb the taste. So when we looked at this property, Manni, Valerie, and I were back at our office, and it was sitting there, and Manni was like, man, I wish if Vidya can come on board. And I said, just get it.
We asked her first, and she said, no. I'm too busy.
She said,
I'm the peak of my career.
I'm the peak of my career. I'm a
scientist.
I'm supposed to be working for one of those big pharmaceuticals, managing all the approvals right now.
So about 5 years ago, I had mentioned that. I said, Vidya, I was walking on Lincoln Road. I saw a space, it'd be perfect because her pizza is like second to none. I said, I saw a space. She was like, don't even think about it. I remember it it was 2016, and it was December 31st. We're going into 2017.
And a tradition at our house for New Year's.
So I told her, I said, and then at the time.
It's for me to make pizza. So that's a tradition. I make homemade pizza.
Like 10 to 15 pizzas.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just pick out.
You're going to have for like a whole week.
So at the time, I thought it was a good idea, but, she didn't. But then this all fell into place, and Manni was saying, I hope she can come on board. I said, just get it, and she'll come on board. So the first soft opening, not really soft opening, but the first soft opening was...
I flew from Dallas that day. I was actually visiting a client in Dallas for work, and they're like, oh, we have a soft opening, and...
Yeah, so
like, you have to come.
It was pretty much a nightmare, the first one. And she called me up that was a Saturday. She called me up the Monday and said, okay, I'm going to need this, 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 and this. I said to Manni and Val, I said, all right, step back.
She's here.
Give her whatever she needs in the kitchen, and let the magic start.
That's how it all happened.
And I think she's been here every day, morning and night since. That's true.
I don't know how she does it, but man, I don't want to be in her shoes.
She gets here about 7 or 8 in the morning. She does her daytime job from our office, and in the kitchen, make sure they're doing what they're supposed to do, and then 6, sometimes 6:30, sometimes 7, shuts the computer, and she's in the kitchen till 10, 11 till we're done.
Amazing.
And
awesome.
She has an 8-year-old at home and a husband.
I have a husband and an 8-year-old daughter at home.
Truly a superwoman story.
Superwoman, indeed.
So they invited me for soft opening, and it was, I would say it was typical Indian food. Not something that I would.
She's like, guys,
this is not gonna. I tasted the food. I looked at the menu, and I'm like, this is not gonna make an impact. We're not gonna survive this. And I called all my clients, and I said, I have a family emergency, and I said I need like the next week off, and that was a Tuesday, and I took Wednesday off, and I went home and I told my husband, I said, this is going to be tough, but I really want to help them out because I do think that they need it. And I don't know if I can do it, but I'm going to try. And my husband's like, yeah, you sure? You've never done something like this? And I'm like, I know, but he has a lot of faith in me too. He's like, I know you can do this. Just, don't overwhelm yourself. And that night I came up with the menu, and I wanted to do non-traditional desserts and have, a mixture of flavors that really truly represents Miami. And I took the things that I love and I put it in the menu, and believe it, I did not even try it. I just literally came up with the recipes, and I said, all right, we're going to put this on the menu. And we did another soft opening on Friday. And people love the dessert. People love the combination of the flavors and the taste. And that was it. That's just how it happened. 2 of our top dishes, which is our eggplant burger, which we did for South Beach Food and Wine, and our eggplant barta, which is one of our top curries, are her dishes, and she's allergic to eggplant. And she came up with both of them. She said, guys, we're doing this. I said, but you can't even try it. She's like, that's okay. Everyone else will.
But I know it's good.
I know it's good. I made it.
And well, it's not just that, like the whole eggplant burger thing, they were invited to Food and Wine, and then my brother's like, oh, you can make an eggplant burger. I'm like, why did you give me time? He's like, just go in the kitchen, and 5 minutes after I came down with an eggplant burger. It was like 5 minutes, right?
Still one of our top
sellers. No, really. And then it was like one of our top sellers, and we were one of the busiest booths at Food and Wine this year. Our lines were unbelievable, and wine and food, and people could not believe that was an eggplant burger, and they really loved it. It was just one of a kind. It was just, it's delicious. I don't know. I can't eat it, but
no, it's great.
But it was one of my 5-minute creations. That's one of our best sellers right now.
It's that's what you get when you have research and science and food come together.
I guess so. Yeah. So yeah, and some of our other desserts are like the flan.
The Kashmiri rose water custard.
Again, our tres leches, ras malai, and then there's like a fried donut called a gulab jamun, and that's made in house. So again, all our desserts are made in house.
That's the standard Indian dessert. The gulab jamun, it's a small donut,
and sugar water.
And sugar water that we do roll in house, and we serve it with our kheer, which is a rice pudding.
Yeah. So again, we try to give that traditional taste with a little bit of a different flair, and it's been working so far. So
if we can push through the elephant in the room, this COVID pandemic, which we've been doing.
Yeah.
We've been doing so far. Yeah, let's open a restaurant 3 months before the world shuts down. Sure, why not?
And to make it even worse, why don't we buy a restaurant the day before she gives birth?
Yes, when the restaurant idea came to, and it started kind of developing. It went from a crazy idea to this is actually happening about a month before I gave birth. So I told them, I said, I have no idea how much I'm going to be able to help. And I think I was home for about 2 weeks, and then they started telling me what was happening, and I said, all right, I'm coming tomorrow. I'll be there tomorrow. And
we got two super moms here.
It's been baby and mama, and
yeah.
We're looking to open for launch pretty soon, within the next 2 weeks.
yes, we want to start.
And we're also gonna open we have like a little cafe in the back, so it's a nice space for like, what is it you guys said, like fast vegan, not vegan but vegetarian food with more of a, like an American flavor to it. So like we're not gonna give out the secrets, but
kind of like a sports bar feel to it.
And we're looking to put like Indian version of nachos on there, and burgers and stuff like that. So,
and we also have a lounge space upstairs, good for private events and night lounging when that opens up again. So we're really excited to really get the most out of our space here.
So I know that we are running out of time, and it's been a wonderful conversation with you guys. I have one more question. Do you guys have any advice for people that want to open a restaurant?
Yes. Navigating during these times, you need to have determination and stamina. If anyone out there who is looking to get into the food industry and need advice, feel free, to give us a call or set up an appointment or something with us. Awesome. Because we wouldn't want someone to be putting out their life savings and not knowing what they would be faced with. We already made a lot of mistakes here within that short space of time, and we wish that if we had people that we could have relate and said, hey, how do you do this or how do you do that? We have learned very, very quick serious cost-cutting measures in order for you to be successful. You don't need to have an elaborate menu. Yeah. Whatever you need to do it well and put your best foot forward. There is room for growth in this industry, but you have to be, thinking very, what I would say, relaxed, out of the box, and don't panic.
Yeah.
If you panic, it brings in a lot of other problems. Where to buy your produce? How do you go about sourcing items? These fine little things. How you could get someone to come and fix something that's broken. Simple little things that cost money in a restaurant operation. Day-to-day activities.
I think what we're saying is we're really here for the community. We're here not just to have a profitable business and spend time together, which we love to do, but we're happy to share our knowledge. We're happy to reach out any way we can. Obviously, Vidya's expertise in getting us COVID ready was very helpful. And we're if restaurants still have concerns or questions or people, we're happy to extend whatever knowledge we do have.
Yeah, and just to let our listeners know, we take all measures here when it comes to COVID precautions. We sanitize after each customer. We do deep sanitation at nights and in the morning. We've implemented a lot of things in our restaurant to decrease the touching of surfaces. So we also have foot pedals on the doors to the bathrooms and entrances to the restaurant, so you don't have to use your hands. Our servers use mask and shield and gloves when serving our customers. So that's something that we also implemented here. We do have a barcode menu that you can scan, so you don't have to touch anything. All our menus are thrown away after customer use if they request paper menu. We have hand sanitizers for staff and customers throughout the restaurant. So those are like some of the things that we've implemented here to ensure that our customers and our workers, our staff feel comfortable here working. Anything else?
A lot of outdoor seating.
A lot of outdoor seating. We do adhere to all the recommendations by CDC, state, local, and government guidelines when it comes to COVID. We do have the 6 feet of distance between patrons when they come in here. So we're very big on that. Even if we're full to capacity, we do not let anybody sit next to each other. We do have those spacing. We have a lot of outdoor seating, which we've been fortunate because of our location. So feel free, our listeners can come, they can sit inside or outside.
That's awesome. I like that this is a true family restaurant. You guys are not only sharing your history, your family, your food, the passion for it, and now you guys are willing to share your experience during business, starting your business. So that's what restaurateurs do. It's you're sharing all aspects of your life with us right now. So
and that's
awesome.
Even just registering the name. You have to go to sunbiz.org and whatnot. I mean, some people have the ability to hire a lawyer, but these are simple things that you can do on your own and save money. The legality part of it, not that we want to represent you as what to do, attorney-wise, but there are certain things that you can
do yourself.
Yeah. So everything. I mean, we have done this this aspect of this many times with our other companies, but yeah, man.
You find it in industry, a lot of people don't like to tell you or really give you advice on how to be successful. I'm just gonna say it like that.
That's true.
And I think, for us, knowledge is power. Knowledge is sharing. We do believe in that. We're not about, secrets. I mean, we have had luck and we worked hard, pretty much during a pandemic to be one of the top restaurants, especially vegetarian restaurants in South Florida. And I think it all comes, down to how we treat our customers and we treat our staff, and again, because it's a family restaurant, my dad always said, if your enemy knocks at your door, you're still going to invite them in and feed them and then let them leave. So that's our mentality here. No one is going to come in here and feel unwelcome. They're always going to feel welcome at Diya.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. This has been a great conversation from thinking I was going to talk to one person to 2, then to 3, then to 4, and the baby. Super
and
cute.
The baby 5. Ronnie makes everything more fun.
You should put the baby at the front, receiving.
Yeah.
This has been great. Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. This was fun. Thank you so much.